What's up? Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. I'm Dustin. This is Brent. Heading into week 4, we got plenty to talk about. But first, who won the pick'em?
An old college buddy, Dan Loft. Congratulations, you won the pick'em this week. It just proves that any idiot can win on any given week. Just kidding, buddy. I'm gonna go ahead. I'll hit you up. You're gonna get a Fantasy Smack Talk T-shirt. Congratulations, great job last week.
Now, before we get into the advice, one quick thing. In case you haven't bought into the advice, wait until the last round to pick your kicker. Where's Garrett Hartley owners right now? Wasted a 9th or 10th round pick in some leagues for this guy. Where's he at? Out of a job, replaced by a 46-year-old man.
Just to let you know, the notes Dustin has before the show that we were talking about just says simply mock people that drafted Hartley high. So please, hope you learned your lesson. Draft the kicker in the last round always.
Please. All right, let's get into our buy low, sell high segment. This is prime time trade season. This is pretty much right when people really start getting trades done in most leagues. So Brent, let's start with some sell high guys.
And the first one's Michael Vick. Yes, trade Michael Vick. But let me preface that with, if you have one of those top 6 elite guys and you picked up Vick, now's the time to sell him. He's played 2 really bad teams already. His value's not gonna be any higher. He's all over ESPN, he's everywhere. All the hype alone is gonna get you additional value. Trade him now while you can, and his value will never be higher.
And another guy we're saying the deal is McFadden. Yeah, I know. He's looked great. He's having a good year, but he's going to burn you at some point, whether it's Bush taking over more carries or him just getting banged up. He's done it every year so far. And if you can get 1st or 2nd round value for him, I know that might be somewhat of a stretch, but if you can get absolute full value for him, deal him now. And I say target teams in your league who are first-year players, first-year owners of a team. They don't know what McFadden's done in the past. He's never been burned by him. That might be your best bet.
All right, now we're going to talk about a couple guys that you should be buying low on. And the first guy I'm going to talk about is Beanie Wells. He didn't start last week, but he did play, and he looked great running the ball. His overall fantasy statistics, however, weren't that great, so his owners might be a little bit nervous that he played and didn't score that many points. But rest assured, he played amazing. He's going to be the starter the rest of the way out, barring any injuries.
And I got one more for you, and that's Ray Rice. He's got a tough matchup against Pittsburgh this week, so he's probably not going to have a good week this week. His owners are probably going to start getting frustrated with him. If you can get him cheap, we say it's a great move. He's going to turn it around and have a great year on that amazing Baltimore offense.
All right, Dustin, it's time to answer some forum questions. The first one comes from TDGD. He wants to know, should he start Louis Murphy against the Texans or Bolden against the Steelers?
This one's tricky, and we have this on the homepage for a poll, and as of right now, it's an even split. So, I mean, obviously everyone thinks this one's hard, but Bolden is at Pittsburgh. I don't like that matchup. Murphy at home against the worst pass D in the league. I say roll the dice with Murphy. I think it's too tempting to not pass up that matchup.
And to even make it a little more confusing, I don't know how you sit Bolden after that monster week last week.
When he's on the road against Pittsburgh, it's a very good chance to do that. All right. Next question comes from Two Nizzles. Nice name. Which quarterback should he start? Gronkowski versus Houston, Sanchez at Buffalo, Alex Smith at Atlanta, or Sam Bradford versus Seattle?
Well, we're going to continue some Oakland Raider love right here, and we're going to go with Gronkowski against the Houston Texans. Their pass D is really just, as Dustin was saying when talking about Murphy, god-awful. Their run D is actually pretty decent, so the way you beat him is through the air. We think Gronkowski's going to have a pretty good day. And just to be noted, our Fantasy Smack Talk community agrees with 57% of the vote. All right, Dustin, last forum question comes from Christian90. He has Matt Schaub and Big Ben in the waiting. His running backs are pretty weak, other than Arian Foster, who we all know is a stud, just ridiculously good. And he wants to know, should he trade Vick and get Michael Turner?
Well, I know this one's already been answered in the forums. I think Lincoln said to go ahead and do this trade, and then you came back and said that you didn't think you were going to. I mean, let me just put this bluntly. You'd be pretty dumb not to do this trade. I mean, Vick's played Detroit and Jacksonville. I mean, 2 bad defenses. And honestly, Schaub is an upgrade from Vick. So you're going to want to start Schaub pretty much every week over Vick anyway. So I know you said your running backs were weak. So just think of it this way. Think about you just picked up Turner off the waiver wire, not Vick. And just get it out of your head of what you think he could potentially do this year, because he's probably not going to live up to that hype. And not to mention, he is somewhat of an injury risk as well. All right, let's get into our favorite part of the show, our studs, duds, and sleepers. We'll start with my picks. My stud was an easy one for me this week, and that's Aaron Rodgers against Detroit. You know, he's had a pretty good season so far, but he hasn't had that monster game. This is going to be the week. My dud, Denver's passing game. I'm talking Orton. I'm talking the rookie Thomas, Lloyd, Gaffney. Put all these guys on your bench. Tough matchup against Tennessee. Not worth it. And my sleeper, going out on a limb, Hayward-Bey out there. More Oakland love. Going up against Houston, obviously I like Louis Murphy better out of the two, but I'm going out on a limb and saying Hayward-Bey could have a good game. He was targeted a lot last week.
All right, my stud, Beanie Wells. I talked about him earlier. I thought he ran great last week. He's going to be the starter. I think he's going to have his breakout party and run all over the Chargers. My dud is Mendenhall. Going up against that tough Ravens defense, I think the Ravens put 8 in the box and make Charlie Batch beat them. And my sleeper is Gradkowski. We're all in on the Oakland Raiders. Again, it's that terrible pasty of the Texans. So, like I said, all in on the Raiders. Let's see how they do.
It's a scary team to be all in on.
It is very scary.
Don't blow it, Gradkowski. Yeah. All right, let's get into Mike's picks. His stud is MJD. Terrible year so far, but he thinks he's going to bounce back against Indy's pretty weak run D. His dud is Ray Rice against Pittsburgh. They've held Chris Johnson and Michael Turner both under 50 yards rushing. It's at Pittsburgh. Scary matchup all around. And his sleeper, a real sleeper this week. I like it. Ryan Terrain. Out there in Washington, if there's going to be a changing of the guard from Clinton Portis, Terrain's the obvious choice, and it's looking like there might need to be someone else getting the carries out there. So I like this sleeper. It could work out for him this week. So that's it for this week's show. Our basketball rankings coming up very soon, probably about a week or so. Also, get into our forums, get into our games, and good luck week 4.